welcome back. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I had a kiln unloading. You might remember that I don't have my own kiln. I've had some problems getting things fired. I did find a kiln just right down the street from me. So I took my things down there, got them bisqued, brought them back, glazed them, and I took them down there for a glaze firing just last weekend. So I want to show you all of those things with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's quite a bit of ugly, and I need help. I need help figuring this out, you guys. I am too new at this to know what in the world is going on. Okay. So any help you can give me, any tips, any advice, I'm a sponge. I'm a sponge. I will suck it all up, whatever you can give me. It's kind of a mess right here. Okay. I'm not a very tidy potter. Wish I were. Would love to be more organized, but I'm not, and I'm just trying to figure things out. Update on the thumb. It's doing better, but it's not 100% yet. So we're still working on that. But I can throw. Okay, I've thrown a little bit. Wedging is a little hard, but I can get through it. The only way I know right now to organize my notes on my glazing is to write it down. So I had this little yellow notepad, and I wrote everything down on this little yellow notepad. And then when I got them back from the kiln, I cut all the notes apart, figured out which one was which, put them in there so that I'd be able to hopefully go through this a little bit faster. But before we get started, I hope you'll watch till the end, because I'm going to tell you about the drama behind getting these pots from the kiln. And then I have a big announcement. I have a big announcement that I want to tell you about at the end. But I want to try to get through all of these pots because I've got like 20 some of them. Okay, so let's start right here. I say ouch because, well, first of all, everything got put on stilts, and this stilt made holes in the glaze. So she said I can grind that down and then polish it, hopefully, with a really fine grit sandpaper, wet sandpaper, I guess. So we'll try. As for the color, it's not horrible. I mean, I don't hate it if you like brown. But anyways, I don't think it's what I intended. I don't think anything's what I intended. So this is, on the outside, 2 coats of Tiger's Eye, 1 coat Opal Luster, and then 1 coat of Opal Luster on the top half. Then another coat of Tiger's Eye on the rim and the handle. And I read those notes and I go, really? I did all that and that's what it did? So, you know, I don't know. I hope this is coming into focus for you so that you can see it. But you know, it's all a learning experience. And so I just figure, you know, I will learn from this, and I will learn that Tiger's Eye is not my favorite, at least not in this combination. Okay, I keep catching myself. That is very sharp right there. So, you know, let me know. Can I grind that down? It's on the glaze. I mean, the hole is in the glaze. Can I grind that down? I don't know. Anyway, but the nice thing is there's no pinholes. There's no pinholes, you know, no crawling, other than those holes from the stilts, you know, no cracks. And, you know, I mean, it's okay. And, you know, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. So that's good. Okay. Then we have a little bowl. All right. Let me show you this little bowl. Hopefully you can see that. I'm trying to hold it still enough that the camera will focus on it. And I just saw a little pinhole as I came around over here. And then the inside. So this bowl is 3 quarts of Tiger's Eye inside. 3 quarts. That's a lot of Tiger's Eye. 3 coats of Tiger's Eye inside. 2 coats Tiger's Eye outside. And then 3 coats of Sand and Sea on the outside. So that's that. I was really excited to try the Sand and Sea because I've seen other people use it. It's really pretty. And it is pretty. I don't know. I guess it's, again, maybe it's the tiger's eye. Maybe the tiger's eye is the problem. It's got some kiln shelf on the bottom. That's a whole other part of the drama. But it doesn't have any pinholes on the inside. Now, this edge just feels kind of rough. What's the deal with that? Did I just not sand it enough when it was bisque? Is that normal? I don't know. I mean, I laid the glaze on there heavy. So why is that so rough? I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, so there's that one. Okay. Then we have another bowl here. This bowl, I was really excited to use these two glazes. So this is 2 coats of root beer inside and out, and then 2 coats of Norse blue inside and out. And that's all it is. And I do like that color. I do think it's really, really pretty. Now the inside, the bottom looks a little, it's almost like the bottom is very matte feeling right there, and looks like it's got some pinholes in it. Yeah. And I can't tell, if they go all the way down to the glaze. And you guys, I don't know a lot about pinholes. I need to understand, about pinholes. I also need to know if I refire this, will that fix it? Will they fill in, or do I need to add more glaze? Now see, there's a pinhole right there that, that looks like a pretty deep pinhole. But then also, like, as I run my hands over it, I feel like little rough spots, little rough, you don't even really see them. It's just almost like this little shardy thing. I don't know. So I don't know. That's probably not food safe. But if I throw that back in the kiln, put it back in the kiln, and refire it, does that fix that? Or do I need to do the hairspray, let it dry, and then more glaze? Anyways, these are the questions I have. So many questions. So many questions. Okay. Now this is a little cat bowl. Kitty cat. Okay. So this, again, tiger's eye. I think I was trying to get rid of my tiger's eye. So this is 3 coats of tiger's eye on the inside. The outside is 2 coats of sand and sea, 1 coat of stone denim, and then 1 coat of stone denim on the rim. So on the rim, there's basically 2 coats of stone denim. And then, so on the rim, and then just like halfway down, and, on the outside. Anyways, so I had carved this bowl, but that it basically filled in all the carvings. They're all filled in. You can't even see them. You really can't even see them. I mean, if you look really closely, you can find them if you know they're there. So, learning, lots of learning. And again, there's more kiln shelf on the bottom. So, okay. This one I'm pretty happy with. I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. It's got a little kiln shelf on the bottom. Everything's going to have to be sanded on the bottom. So this is, inside is 2 coats of stone denim and 1 coat tiger's eye. Outside, 2 coats stone denim, 1 coat tiger's eye on the top half and the rim. So there, with the stone denim underneath, the tiger's eye is cool. Super cool. By itself, tiger's eye by itself, not so cool. Tiger's eye under stone denim, pretty cool. I like that. I do like that one. And it does have a few of those little tiny sharp feeling things. What is that? Why does it feel sharp? It's like I can't even see anything. I just feel this little sharpness. What do I do about that? Crap. I wanted to give this to my son for his birthday. Don't worry, he doesn't watch my channel. None of my kids do. I don't think it has pinholes inside. My gosh, it's just really pretty. It's really, really pretty. So tiger's eye under stone denim. So that's cool. But yeah, do you have any ideas on these tiny little sharp things? Anyways, okay. Let's do a fail. You want to do a really bad fail, like a bad fail. I don't know what happened. Okay. First of all, maybe it's because I used black timber. Now, I used black timber in the very first batch I did, and this is the black timber, okay, with stone denim. The black timber is very matte, but there it is, okay? So, now, are you ready? No, I really need you to be ready, you guys. This is a little terrifying. So we're talking, what do we got here? 3 coats of black timber, in and out. 3 coats of black timber in and out. Get a good look at that. How fun is that? Okay. So 3 coats of black timber inside and out, and then 3 coats of birch on the rim and halfway down and inside. Yeah. So there's birch inside too. Okay. What's this? What is this? It's like this big bubble. Okay. And it's just, I mean, I feel like it's just kind of bubbly all over. That's awful. You guys, that's hideous. And I was so happy. This was the cutest little thing. And I had even carved a little texture around it on the top and bottom. And I thought, oh, this is just going to be the cutest little tumbler. That's hideous. What is that bubble? I hope you can see that bubble. Do you see that? That's just awful. So, yeah. I don't know. Is it the black timber? Should I just stay away from black timber? And honestly, I hate that I can't say what kind of clay this is, although I'm looking at the bottom and I'm like, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. The little bumps in the clay, that was not there before. Did the glaze fire like pull something out of the clay that was in it? I don't know. That's bizarre. Anyways, epic fail right there. So any ideas would be helpful. Okay. All right. Let's do another fail. Here's another one. This is a good one. This is a good fail. Another one that I intended for my son. The heck. Inside, 2 coats of stone denim, 1 coat tiger's eye. And I can't blame tiger's eye for it turning out bad, because these 3 things had tiger's eye and they don't look like this. So 2 coats stone denim and 1 coat tiger's eye inside. Outside, 1 coat of stone denim, 1 coat of tiger's eye on the top half and the rim. Then another coat of stone denim just on the bottom half. Then a coat of sand and sea on the top half and the rim. Do you see that rough, horrible texture? Do you see this bubble? What is that bubble? I mean, look at that. It is just rough. It feels awful. It feels like a terrible, terrible, gritty. It's awful. It's so awful. There's 2 bubbles. There's a bubble there and there's a bubble there. I hope you're able to see that. Oh my gosh. I mean, you know, the way the glazes blend and stuff, they make really cool colors. I don't hate the color because I do love dark colors. Okay. So if it was just a color thing, I'd love it. But it's this roughness. Oh, it's so rough. It's awful. That is horrible. I just don't know what is wrong. And these bubbles, these great big, you know, was there an air pocket? That bubble is inside and out. It's the same bubble, I think, because it's in the same spot on the inside and the outside. So does that mean there was an air pocket in there and it tried to explode but didn't? Is that what that means? That my clay had an air pocket and I just didn't know? I don't know. Anyways, another fail. Okay, let's look at one that didn't fail, okay? Because we have more fails. So let's just kind of weave them in and out, okay? This one I'm pretty happy with. Again, Just like this bowl, 2 coats root beer, 2 coats Norse Blue. I got a mug. 2 coats root beer, 2 coats Norse Blue. I do not hate that color at all. Not at all. I think that is so pretty. I love how it looks on the handle. That is so pretty, right? Isn't that a pretty color? But we've got a couple of pinholes in there. Again, we've got this roughness to it. And I was going to say earlier, I can't say what kind of clay any of these are because I've made the huge mistake of experimenting with too many different clays at once, and then I don't know what's what. Because of where I live, and it's 3 hours to the nearest pottery supply place to go buy clay, I found online Seattle Pottery Supply. They sell a flight of clay. So it's 4 12-pound bags, each of a different clay. Now they're all the same firing temperature, they're all cone 5-6, and that kind of thing. But there's Klamath Brown, Klamath Yellow, Klamath Red, and I don't know, something else. There was a fourth one. But then I reclaimed, and when I reclaimed, I mixed them, and then I've also got some B mix floating around. So I am done with all of those other clays, and I only have B mix now. So after this, I won't run into that. I decided I'm just going to stick with B mix until I get some things figured out, and then gradually I will experiment. But so we got some drips on the bottom, drips off the bottom, as you can see. Hopefully I can just grind those down. But yeah, I don't know. So it's like, I just worry so much about things being food safe. Can somebody use this? Can they drink out of it? And I guess, I don't know. I'm trying to see. I don't really think it has a pinhole in the bottom. It's just little pock marks, but they don't look like they go through. They look like they're sealed over. So anyway, I think that's really pretty. Do you see how there's almost like a pink color coming through in there? So 2 coats of root beer, and then 2 coats of Norse Blue on top of that. All right. What does not have tiger's eye on it, Cindy? My gosh. All right. Don't judge me by my handle, okay? This was the first handle that I ever did, I think. Maybe not. Maybe the second handle. Maybe this was the first one that I pulled from the mug. It's a very chubby handle. It's a little embarrassed about its chubbiness, so don't laugh at it too much, okay? So here we go. The colors are pretty. I don't hate them. So this is, it's the same as this one, so I have to get this one out. It's 3 coats of Flux Blossom all over. Okay? 3 coats Flux Blossom inside and out. Then 2 coats of Fairy Rose on the top half and the handle. Okay, 2 coats of Fairy Rose, and then 1 coat of seaweed. 1 coat of seaweed on the rim, and then down just about 1 inch, and then I brought it a little bit down on the handle. So Flux Blossom, Fairy Rose, and seaweed. So, and it's just all Flux Blossom inside with a little bit of seaweed drips in there. And it's okay. I mean, it's great. Inside, it's great. I mean, there's no pinholes or anything in there. I think, that's definitely a usable mug. It's just kind of funny. So that one's okay. All right, here's another disaster. Actually, the color is not a disaster. The color is 3 coats of seaweed, and then 3 coats of kimchi. That's it. And I love the color, but it cracked. It's cracked. So it cracked. I had no idea it was cracked. Must not have, that must have just shown up. And then something very bad happened to the bottom of it. Don't know what. My guess, I mean, it was probably on a stilt. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But that happened. So there's one for the trash. But I love the color. I do love that color. So 3 coats of seaweed and then three times kimchi. So that was good. All right, I took a pause. I paused the camera and kind of moved things around. So the ones I'd already talked about, they're back there now, and I switched it up here so I don't have to keep reaching behind me. Okay, so moving on. I have good intentions, okay? I have really good intentions. So this is a little like garlic grater and herb stripper bowl. Problem is the glaze filled in the grater part and some of the holes. And I worried about that. I did worry about that. I know when I was doing it, I took a toothpick and I kept clearing the glaze out of the holes, hoping that it would stay that way. The bigger holes did okay. But anyways, so this is 3 coats of birch inside and out, and then 3 coats of seaweed on the rim. And I'm sorry, I haven't been saying the brand. So seaweed is a Amico, and birch is Mako, right? Yeah, birch is Mako. So anyway, I mean, I don't hate the color. I feel like I don't love how yellow the birch goes, and I wonder if it's because it's on Klamath brown clay. So I'll have to look at some of the other things that I did birch on. Of course, this is, nope, that's Flux Blossom. Never mind. Delete. Okay. So anyways, if you have any tips, any advice, hints, tricks, whatever, for how to do these little garlic grater bowls, herb stripper bowls, whatever they're called, do I just need to put less glaze, maybe just like a coat of clear to seal it? And what do you do about holes? How do you keep the holes from filling in like that? How do you prevent that? I don't know. I wanted to give that to my daughter, but Okay. So this bowl is kind of fun to me just because this is the very first thing I ever threw on the wheel that turned out. And, I probably was going for a mug and it turned into a bowl, because you know how that does. I did a little swirly thing. But anyway, so on the outside of it, it's 2 coats of opal luster and then 1 coat of tiger's eye on the top half and the rim. So opal luster, 2 coats, tiger's eye. Inside is 3 coats of rose quartz. That didn't turn out so well. I mean, none of it really turned out. I just really wanted this to have a lot of pink to it and stuff. So, and I went on the Mako site and I was looking at combinations from the Mako site that showed, and that's why I did this, because it showed tiger's eye over opal luster, and it was so pretty. It didn't look anything like this. So, I don't know. So let's talk about firing. In the kiln, the ladies' kiln that I rented, it's an old kiln, and it's a kiln sitter. I even had to buy the pyrometric bars because she didn't even have any cone 6. So I bought the cone 6 pyrometric bars so that she could put one in there. So it was done at cone 6, but she turned it on, she went home. We'll talk more about that later. Anyway, so it does have some pinholes on the outside, and then of course, lots of that. So, but again, this is something else that I'm wondering, can I redo this? Can I add something over that, and refire it? Is that going to help with pinholes and stuff? And because I hear people say that. they do that they refire things. But what I'm wondering is, when you refire them, do you just refire them the same way they were fired? Like, you know, whether you go to cone 6 or whatever, or do you do it at a hotter temperature? Do you want to do cone 7 or do you have to do a hold or whatever? Of course, you know, apparently on her kiln, there is no holding because she just goes home because it's at her shop outside at the shop. Anyway, okay, moving on. So here's another one with 3 coats of rose quartz inside. Look at that. Rose quartz is not pretty by itself, is what I'm determining. This is on brown clay. I know for a fact this was my very first bowl. This was it was called whiteware. Whiteware? I think they called it whiteware. But anyway, so that's rose quartz on Klamath brown clay. Okay, so it's 3 coats of rose quartz inside, 2 coats of opal luster outside, plus 1 coat of stone denim. And I do love that. I love that. And I had carved this. And so I love that. But again, there's all these little sharp things. It's sharp. It doesn't feel good. It's not smooth. It's not smooth at all. It's just sharp. You know, so I don't know. Is there hope for this? Is a refire? You know, and maybe what you're all saying right now is refire it, see what happens. Which, you know, that's probably the best thing to do. Okay, here's one that I'm kind of excited about. This one, I wanted to experiment with ancient copper. This is 4 coats of ancient copper inside and out. That's it. Just ancient copper. It's on a dark brown, probably that Klamath brown clay. Just ancient copper. That's kind of cool, you guys. I did have a little paw print stamp right there because I intended this one for a friend of mine, and the glaze filled in the paw print. So I got to figure out how to not do that in the future. I don't think it has any pinholes. I feel like it's good, but I love that. I mean, it just looks like copper. So yeah, it's just ancient copper all by itself. 4 coats. So I'm not mad about that. Okay. Ooh. Then we have a little small bowl. Back to the tiger's eye again. 2 coats of tiger's eye. 2 coats of tiger's eye inside and out. And 2 coats of Norse blue on top of that. Inside and out. And that's pretty. That's really, really pretty. I love that. But again, I do like darker colors. That's very smooth. That's rough. All around that edge there is really rough. And I feel like I sanded the crap out of these things when they were bisque. And I really thought that would, you know, I don't know. There is one tiny little pinhole on the outside there. But I love little tiny bowls. I love them like I love cottage cheese. So I'll just put a couple scoops of cottage cheese in a bowl. Or even I like granola, but it's got a lot of sugar in it. So I don't like to eat very much. So I'll put granola in a tiny little bowl and pour a little bit of my almond milk on it. And, you know, so I love little tiny bowls. But yeah, I dig the color. I do want to know about the sharpness. Because I'm like, if you wanted to drink out of this, you know, drink the milk out of this. I mean, it's not cutting my lip. Thank goodness. I took one for the team. I was going to cut my lip for you if I needed to. Okay. Here's another little tiny bowl. Now, this one's got, it's almost like it wanted to pinhole. It started a pinhole, but then it didn't have time or whatever. And so it's like all these little things bubbled up and then stopped. And so that feels very rough in there. Anyways, so this is 3 coats of seaweed, of the Amico seaweed, inside and out. 3 coats. And then 1 coat of root beer, just about, you know, 3/4 of an inch down on the rim. I put it on the rim, and then I put it all around there. 1 coat of Mako root beer, and then 1 coat of Amico Flux Blossom just on the top. I just barely put some Flux Blossom on the top. One coat. So that's real pretty. I don't know about this bumpiness in there, but you know, I worry so much about, are things food safe? Can you eat and drink out of them? I really worry about that. But maybe that's another thing that it's like, well, refire it. See if it comes out better. I don't know. I'm new at this, you guys. That's why I'm here. I'm here because I need your help. Eventually, I'm going to be here because I'm going to be helping other people because they're going to be new and I'm going to have already figured it out with your help. And then I can show them. But right now, no. Right now, I need help. I need all the help. Okay, another tiny little bowl because I love me some tiny little bowls. Brown clay. Don't mind the kiln shelf on it. 3 coats of Tiger's Eye inside. 2 coats of Tiger's Eye outside. And then on top of the Tiger's Eye outside, 1 coat of stone denim. And then another coat of stone denim just on the top third and on the rim. And then I let it run down in a little bit. So Tiger's Eye only on the inside, Tiger's Eye outside, stone denim on the rim. I love the stone denim. I just got to figure out some really good combinations with it. But I mean, you know, again, I like dark colors. I do like dark color. I like light colors too. I really do. I'm just kind of one of those. I like a lot of things, which is why I tried some light things. So I don't know. We just keep trying. Okay. Then we got this big old bowl. Great big bowl. I mean, you know, big for me. Okay. That's big for me. And it is inside is 2 coats of stone denim and then 1 coat of Tiger's Eye on top of the stone denim. And, you know, so that's super pretty. So it's 2 coats stone denim, then 1 coat of Tiger's Eye. Now on the outside is 1 coat of stone denim, then 1 coat of opal luster, and then another coat of stone denim. Look at all those pinholes. Can you see them? I hope you can see those. I mean, they are big. Those are some big pinholes. Those are, I mean, I don't even, wait, you know what? Maybe those aren't pinholes. Maybe those are what are called blisters because they look more like because instead of looking like they went in, they look like they came out. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyways, like, look at that. Look at the size of that. So again, can I refire that? But you know, it's like when I look at these and they feel a little sharp, they're sealed. It's almost like there's a clear over top of them. That's what I feel like. I feel like it's clear over top of them. Now, there's a couple, there's only a couple on the inside. So I don't know. So frustrating. It's so frustrating. But, you know, it's all about learning, right? We're just trying to figure this all out. Okay, here's another mug. This one is 2 coats of stone denim outside, plus 1 coat of Tiger's Eye, and then 1 coat of opal luster on the top half. Not at all what I thought that was going to look like. Not even close. Not even close. I had a lot higher expectations for opal luster. And I've decided that I must not love opal luster because it's not good. Okay, inside is 2 coats of stone denim. And can you see that spot where it crawled? So right there, can you see that? It crawled. So again, how do I fix that? Gosh. I hope you guys are just like answering these questions as I ask them. I need help. Okay, let's talk about a really good fail. Here's another really good fail. Rose quartz. Rose quartz again. Rose quartz is Mako. My glazes are over there. That's what I'm looking at. So rose quartz, 3 coats of rose quartz inside and out. And then 2 coats of opal luster on the outside on just the top half and the rim, 2 coats of opal luster. So 3 coats of rose quartz everywhere, 2 coats of opal luster. And I mean, it's not horrible. And actually inside, I think it's fine inside. It doesn't have no pinholes, no nothing inside, which is interesting because, that rose quartz, I mean, there's that rose quartz and then that rose quartz and then this rose quartz. And yet this one turned out okay. So what the heck, And maybe because that was 3 coats of rose quartz and that was 3 coats of rose quartz. Oh no, that's 3 coats of rose quartz. All 3 coats of rose quartz. Say rose quartz again. Lots of pinholes on the outside. Lots of pinholes and lots of drips. So yeah. So again, do I go to the trouble of grinding that all off, fixing that up, and then trying to refire it and getting these pinholes to close up? Is that something that I do? Do you take the time to do that? Or do you say, that was a good test, we'll move on? I don't know. Okay, here's another one. Check this out, you guys. 3 coats of sand and sea on the outside. 3 coats of sand and sea on the outside. 2 coats of seaweed on the inside. And then 2 coats of seaweed on the rim and 1/3 of the way down on the outside. And clearly something fell against that in the kiln. Because part of it is there. The funny thing is, I haven't been able to find, there's none of my pieces are missing this. So I'm like, is that a kiln post? Or is that from brick? Did it fall against the brick? I don't know. Look at the bottom. Yeah. And again, this one is just all gritty. I mean, can you see that texture? It is just gritty and horrible. It's like it's been covered with just a really heavy grit sand. Down in the bottom, at the very bottom, it's smooth, but all of this, and it's kind of got those little bubbles too, but not big like that other cup. And it's same thing on the bottom. There's little. Okay, here's what I'm wondering. So this one and this one, it doesn't really have those same bumps on the inside like this one does, or on the clay like this one does. That could be the same clay. This could all be the same clay. And I'm going to confess to something right now, because this could all be the same clay. So I made my own plaster bat. I let it cure. I thought I let it cure long enough. I think I let it cure like 10 days or so. It wasn't cool to the touch anymore. It just seemed great. Laid out my reclaim on it. And when the reclaim was ready to flip over, I flipped it over and it looked like it had been salted. And I'm like, what is that? Why does it look like it's got salt all over it? And I think I used that clay, and I wonder if that could be it. Could that be plaster? Was that, plaster dust in there and it all like sucked out to the outside? I don't know. I've never allowed my clay to touch that bat again. And since then I made another bat, and I haven't had any problems with that one. So anyways, I don't know. So maybe that's the problem, but this is a problem, and that's a problem. And that's obviously from the stilts that she put everything on. And when I say she let me load the kiln. Okay. I've never loaded a kiln before. I had no idea how to load a kiln, and she just kept setting stilts in there. And I know several times I would sit something on a stilt and I would say, it feels kind of wobbly, like maybe it might fall off, you know? So then she'd get a bigger stilt or whatever. But then everything, I would show it to her. I'd show her the bottom and say, does this need a stilt? She'd say, no, that one's okay. So I don't, I mean, because I'm who I am, yeah, I feel bad if my things hurt her kiln, but she was right there telling me how to do this, you know, not really how to load it or whatever, you know. I mean, I finally figured out, I think all the same size things, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, so I did have one little mug that I made. I thought it was the cutest little mug. It had 3 little feet on it, and it had the cutest little handle that looked like a tail. I mean, this was just the cutest little mug, and I was going to give it to my granddaughter. And I had to leave it there because it was stuck to her kiln shelf, like stuck. I mean, the glaze ran down it and it was just in a puddle, just stuck. I mean, worse than that, way worse than that. And, but I asked her when I put that in there, I said, does this need to be on a stilt? She said, no, that'll be fine. Okay. All right. She said it was fine. So anyway, so I lost that mug. And so I think, so I didn't show you this one. This was one of my favorite mugs. Ouch. Ouch. Yeah. See the broken spot? See the drips? I loved this mug. I was so hopeful for this mug to turn out. So this is one that is 3 coats of Flux Blossom, Mako or Amico Flux Blossom, inside and out, 3 coats. Okay. And then 3 coats of Fairy Rose on the top half. So Fairy Rose is Coyote. 3 coats of Fairy Rose on the top half, and then 3 coats of Seaweed on the rim, and just about an inch down, 3 coats of Seaweed. So, and I do love the colors, but it really ran. And what's interesting to me is I know I took the Flux Blossom. I thought I took the Flux Blossom all the way down, but maybe I didn't. Maybe it only went down. Maybe it only went down to there. I don't know. I mean, I love these drips, but you know, then yeah, just so that one's a goner. That one's a goner. And that's too bad. It's like, oh yeah, sure, the ones that don't have any pinholes on the inside and that are perfectly wonderful on the inside, you know, they're ruined on the bottom. So anyways, okay, this video is long enough. That's my kiln unload. Sad as it may be, any tips, any advice, any hints, any help that you have, again, I'm a sponge. I will accept anything. Your comments have been so kind. I would like to put a video out, you know, at least once a week. It's been 2 weeks now since I put a video out. But you know, then I go in and I see all the comments and it just motivates me and inspires me. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit, just for a minute, because I'm not a mean person and I don't want to be mean, but the drama about getting this kiln load. Okay, so her store, again, I live on the top of a mountain in Arizona. Okay, mountain town with mountain folk. Okay, her store is open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I think Sunday, unless she doesn't want to open it, then it's not opened. And so last weekend, it wasn't going to be open, but she texted me and said, let me know if you're ready to do that glaze fire. The shop's not going to be open because I have family coming in town, but I can meet you at the shop. She just lives right down the road, just like I do. So okay, cool. I'll finish up the glazing. So I got the glazing finished up. And then I texted her and I said, I texted her on Friday and said, I'm ready to glaze fire. Nothing. I texted her Friday evening, nothing. I texted her Saturday morning again, you know, is it possible that you could meet me at the shop today? And then she finally texted back and said, sure, you know, meet me at, you know, 12:30, whatever. So met her down there, got everything in the kiln, you know, and then she said, now it's gonna, and this was at 12:30 on Saturday. And she said, it's gonna be tomorrow afternoon. She said, because, you know, this will take a while to, cool down, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she said, and also I have to run my sister back to the airport, da, 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 da. Okay, fine. I said, that's fine. I knew it would be at least 24 hours, no problem. I said, I'll wait to hear from you. So I didn't hear anything from her Sunday night. So Monday morning, I text her, any chance I can pick up my pots today? Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nothing. So I just waited. I don't want to be a bother. All day Monday, hear nothing from her. Tuesday morning, I text her, any chance I can pick up my pots today? She finally texts me back and says, yeah, I'll be at the shop at 10. Okay, I'll see you then. So that's when I get down there. So, I dropped him off Saturday at noon. I picked him up Tuesday at 10 a.m. And she said, I was gone all day yesterday. So, I'm like, a text would have, who doesn't have their phone with them at all times? Anyways, a text would have been nice. It just would have been really nice. Anyways, all that to say, this has just been such a frustrating experience so far. It's not making me want to, once in a while it makes me want to quit and just sell it all, but it really, it doesn't. I want to do this. I want to learn this. I want to make this, something that I can really do and enjoy. But the stress that I've been through with these different problems that I've had with firing is awful. It's been awful, and I can't deal with the stress. So we're getting a kiln. We're getting a kiln. I have to figure out what kiln. And I know I said before that, our electricity is a little bit of an issue here, and it is. It's a little bit of an issue, but my husband thinks he's got a handle on what we can do and everything, So I just need a kiln that it takes no more than 30 amps, that can plug into 30 amps. And so I need help with that. I need suggestions. I need ideas. I need a kiln, and we're going to buy a new kiln because my husband's all about warranties and customer service and, buying new and everything and having it delivered. So I need kiln suggestions, kiln advice, kiln help. Gosh, you guys, I just feel terrible. I'm just coming to you and just basically saying help. But anyways, so that's it for me for today. I'll keep you updated. Anyways, I'll be back with another video. I don't know what it will be about, and I don't know when it will be, but hopefully it will be soon, and hopefully we'll have really good news. So please drop any comments that you have, any help, any advice, any tips, any kiln suggestions, anything you've got, let me know. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one.